Then she was asked about the president's abortion stance. And in particular, there was an interview. I heard this mentioned, I think, on the editors the other day. But Tim Ryan, the guy who's going to be running against J.D. Vance now in Ohio for the Senate race, a Democrat, he was asked by Bret Baier on Fox, so where do you stand on abortion? Okay, you're upset about the draft opinion. Should there be any limits? And he would not commit to any limits whatsoever in any part of the 9-month pregnancy. Just it's up to the woman was how he landed. So Peter Doocy asks Jen Psaki, what about President Biden? Does he support any limits? This is a top guy running for Senate in his party. Does he agree with Tim Ryan? Would he set any limits on abortion? I mean, the weaselly dodging and weaving. He's already spoken to his position. He's spoken to his position. He's already made his position clear. Well, what is it? Is it 9 months on demand or isn't it? Right? Like no one on their side of the aisle wants to be pinned down on where to draw the line, because that's really what they're asking for. And most Americans don't want abortion on demand for 9 months of pregnancy.
No, and as many other people have pointed out, we're a very long way now from safe, legal, and rare.
Yeah.
So it is true that most Americans support abortion in the first trimester. About 63% of Americans do.
Right.
But after that point, it drops off a cliff. I mean, the second trimester, you drop down to the 30s. The third trimester, you drop down to about 12 or 13%. This has been consistent over 20, 30 years. If anything, Americans have got a little bit more pro-life. But where they have been consistent across the last 20 or 30 years is that they broadly favor some access to abortion in the first trimester. And after that, they strongly oppose it. Now, this is one reason, of course, that the Democratic Party is so invested in Roe v. Wade, because it allows for, in every state, abortions after a point that most Americans find disgusting. And if they were given the chance to vote on this, they would not put in place blanket abortion bans in most states of the sort that many pro-lifers would like, but they would restrict abortion in the way that a lot of other Western nations have. I'm originally from England. England is 20 weeks. In France, it's 12 weeks. You would see some sort of compromise between those two, I imagine. If Roe does fall, Florida, where I live, will go to 15 weeks. For the president of the United States to say no restrictions at all, so essentially 40 weeks, is an extreme position. This isn't rhetoric. It is so far out there at 40 weeks that you're looking at about 5-6% of the country believe that. Mm-hmm. And I find it remarkable that the press doesn't put that in context for readers and viewers, that 40 weeks, the president's entitled to whatever view he wants, but that is an unfathomably extreme view of abortion.
That's right. And instead of acknowledging that, right, this is, of course, the Democrats don't want to talk about that. They want to say that not only is this going to lead to back alley abortions involving coat hangers. Right now, you've got TikTokers running campaigns to send coat hangers to all of the conservative justices, which, by the way, I didn't know this, but apparently they already did this to Brett Kavanaugh. The report was that he was sent something like 3,000 coat hangers when he was going through his confirmation. I mean, people are sick, right? Like, I mean, it's absurd because I know you've pointed this out and we talked about it on our show yesterday. Abortion's not about to become illegal in America. It's not. It may be illegal in your particular state, especially if you live in a deep red state as a result of this opinion, if this opinion does what the draft opinion does. But it's not going to be illegal in all 50 states. And the only way to make it illegal in all 50 states, realistically, because we're not going to get a constitutional amendment making it legal in all 50 states. There's no, or illegal, either way. There's not going to be an amendment. The only way of changing that on a national basis now is a national law. But there's not the power within the Congress to pass a national law. They don't have the power. And even if they tried, it would be going down a very fraught road because as soon as the Democrats did it one way, saying it's legal in all 50 states, the GOP would get control and then it would be illegal in all 50 states. So the pro-choice side should want it to just stay where it is now. But if Roe gets reversed, let it be a state by state issue because you're always going to have New York and California and Vermont and all of, Connecticut and all these blue states. OK, so that's my point. But we're not having backroom hanger abortions anymore. So that's nonsense. But the Supreme Court's under enormous pressure right now, under enormous pressure. And to me, it was interesting that, we see the Democrats not wanting to talk about any of that. What they just do is catastrophize, Charles. They don't acknowledge, the realities that I just outlaid. They say they scare people into thinking it will be illegal, and other rights are about to go, right? They heard Joe Biden suggest LGBTQ kids aren't going to be able to sit in class anymore. They're going to get kicked out. That's possible with this crazy MAGA agenda. And then we hear good old Hillary Clinton. And there was speculation this week she's going to run again because of this. Hillary Clinton weighs in and says the following.
This opinion is dark. It is incredibly dangerous. And it is not just about a woman's right to choose. It is about much more than that. And I hope people now are fully aware of what we're up against, because the only answer is at the ballot box to elect people who will stand up for every American's rights. And any American who says, look, I'm not a woman, this doesn't affect me, I'm not black, that doesn't affect me, I'm not gay, that doesn't affect me. Once you allow this kind of extreme power to take hold, you have no idea who they will come for next.
Who they will come for, like they're on a campaign, Charles, to start taking people's rights away.
Yeah, well, there's a lot to say about that. The first thing is that the they in her sentence apparently refers to the Supreme Court. And it's just civic ignorance to propose that the Supreme Court is wielding or exercising power. It is civic ignorance to send coat hangers to Brett Kavanaugh's house, aside from being a bad idea in and of itself. The Supreme Court is not there to make policy. It's not there to determine whether or not abortion is good or bad. The Supreme Court is there to uphold the Constitution, mediate between the Constitution as it's written and any laws that are passed through legislatures, and interpret statutes that are disputed by two or more parties. The Supreme Court erred in 1973 by getting itself into this realm in the first place. Roe versus Wade is bad law. It was received as bad law at the time, including by many pro-choice legal scholars. It is rarely defended on the merits now. If Hillary Clinton and anyone else wants to be angry with anyone involved in the regulation of abortion, they should be angry with state legislators and governors who take this up in the coming years, as they should have been able to do since 1973. Now, I have strong views on abortion, but those are separate from the fundamental legal question here, which is Roe v. Wade, is Casey v. Planned Parenthood good law? And the answer to that is no. And if the Supreme Court overturns the decision, it will be doing so because after 50 years, it's decided to tell the truth. And on the second point, I think there's an awful lot of scaremongering around this. And you heard a little bit of it from Hillary Clinton there.
Dark, dangerous.
Whatever you think of Alito's draft opinion, which may not be the final opinion, of course, we don't know where that will go. But suppose that Alito's opinion goes down the line essentially unchanged. It doesn't have any bearing on, say, interracial marriage. The holding in it is to do with substantive due process within the 14th Amendment, not the Equal Protection Clause. It could plausibly have some bearing on Obergefell, the case that legalized gay marriage in all 50 states. But of course, there are very different reliance interests there. And there also doesn't seem to be any appetite, either jurisprudentially or in state legislatures, to reverse gay marriage. So I think regardless of where people sit on this issue, they ought to be careful not to be taken in by that. And I would note to finish that it is somewhat interesting that Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren and others seem quite quickly to talk about other things than abortion. Mm-hmm. Well, look at all these other things that might be threatened. And I wonder if that speaks to a nervousness on their part that their positions on abortion, and as we've discussed with Joe Biden, is certainly the case, are extreme.
Are the high fuel costs putting a damper on your summer vacay plans? From higher prices at the pump to a jump in airfare, it's getting more expensive to get away for a week. But what if you could soak up those vacay vibes year-round in the privacy of your own home? Get a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas. Whether you want to stay close to home this summer or you just want to extend your break, a Michael Phelps Swim Spa by Master Spas can transform your backyard into an oasis. It's a vacation right there. It combines the benefits of a pool with the therapy of a hot tub. It will reinvent your family time. You're going to love it, and your family and friends will too. Michael Phelps Swim Spas by Master Spas come in a variety of sizes to complement almost any yard, even if it's a small one. Don't panic. They've got you. And since it's heated, you can use it year-round in any climate. Michael Phelps Swim Spas are 100% made in the USA by Master Spas, which is the world's largest swim spa manufacturer. Go to masterspas.com, put in the promo code MK to save $1,000 on a Michael Phelps Swim Spa or $500 on a Master Spas hot tub. That's masterspas.com, promo code MK. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.